I'm Greg Brower. I'm the pastor of Zion Reformed Church, and like many of you involved in ministry, I spend a lot of my time recruiting volunteers. You might spend your time recruiting Sunday school teachers or ushers or recruiting people to serve on consistory, but whatever your role in ministry, you probably spend time recruiting volunteers. For many of us, our energy goes into finding the volunteers. And then once we find someone, we move on to the next recruit we need to make. But what if instead of simply recruiting people, we put together a plan to prepare them to serve, to equip them in their service, and to inspire them to keep serving? Imagine what it would be like if in your church, in your ministry, everyone felt prepared, equipped, and inspired to be connected and serving in your church. What we are trying to do at our church right now is develop a plan for how we can help people get prepared to serve in their ministry. We're looking at different options. You might consider some as well. Maybe you'll hold a class and you'll give people training and teaching from up front in a classroom setting to learn the skills they need to serve. Or maybe you'll have a turbo group of 5 to 8 people who meet and they practice their skills in a safe and controlled setting. Or maybe you'll want to use an apprentice model and you'll have new volunteers come alongside and serve with an experienced volunteer who can show them the ropes and teach them the basic skills. No matter what method you use, you need some way to prepare them so they feel ready and confident when they first begin to serve. And then once they're serving, we need a way to equip them so they can continue growing in their skills, so they can have a space to problem solve and address challenges that they're having, so they can find support in their service. That can happen through a huddle system with a coach and 3 or 4 or 5 volunteers meeting monthly to talk about their ministry together with some small content included. Or maybe you'll use an online method and they'll watch videos and they can self-direct their own pace of learning. Or maybe you'll hold a classroom training session every few months. But you need some way, some intentional process to equip people in their service. And then you need a way to inspire them. There's an old story of 3 men out in the desert making bricks. And someone comes by and asks them what they're doing. And the first one says, "I'm making bricks." And the second one says, "I'm building a wall." And the third one says, looking off into the distance, "I'm building a cathedral." What would it be like in your church if every volunteer could say that they were building a cathedral? If they had a vision for how their role, whether it's a greeter on Sunday morning or serving as a deacon or leading worship, whatever it is, if they could see how that fit in what God was doing in your church. That's the goal of inspiration. To plan an event maybe once a year, maybe every quarter, to remind people again why they give their time and energy to your ministry, to that mission of God where you have been placed. If we want volunteers to not simply fill a role, but to be developed, to become committed, and become more and more effective over time, we need a plan to prepare them, to equip them, and to inspire them.